Hi everyone, welcome into this week's My Weekly CBS Fix. I'd like to dedicate this week's video to the Rebbe's sister, whose granddaughter became a Kala, Mazel Tov. May she build a Bayis Nema b'Yisrael. In this week's Parsha, Parshas Kisavai, Moshe Rabbeinu tells the people that they saw all the amazing wonders that Hashem did for them, and Hashem, however, did not give you a mind to understand, and eyes to see, and ears to hear until this day. Now, Rashi tells us that means that they did not have the mind to see, the eyes to hear, the eyes to see, the mind to understand, or the ears to hear, meaning to recognize all the good that Hashem had done for them. And most people understand this to certainly be a criticism of the Jewish people. That 40 years went by and it finally hit you all the greatness and all the kindnesses that Hashem had done for you. However, the Talmud in Tractate of Avodah Zarah 5b says a slightly different understanding, and it's more to the basic understanding of how our sages wanted us to understand this verse. And that is that it takes a person up to 40 years to fully grasp, to fully comprehend the words of his master. Meaning, even if his master or the teacher teaches him or her something, you could understand it today, you could understand it tomorrow. It's up until 40 years go by that you get the full impact, that one can get the full impact of everything that the rabbi meant with the words that he had taught you. And what we're seeing from over here, this is a 40-year period from the time that the Jewish people had gotten the Torah until the time that Moses was about to pass away, was a period of 40 years. And finally, they acquired the mind to understand, the eyes to see, and the ears to hear, and fully understand everything that Moshe had said in the name of Hashem. And the lesson that I was thinking about from this, of course, is that we as young people, in our teens, in our 20s, in our 30s, and even in our 40s, we think that we understand everything, and we're smarter, and been there, done that, and I don't need anybody to teach me anything. And you may have heard a form of rebuke or a form of any type of teaching, and you thought you understood, you thought you comprehended it, but you didn't. And it doesn't mean that when a person's 40 years old, if a person starts to learn when they're 50, they won't grasp it until they're 90. And by the way, it's actually a way to get long life. If you study something and you want to come closer to Hashem through what you're studying, then it's a blessing that Hashem will give you 40 years to be able to understand it. But one of the main things, one of the lessons that hit home all the time are that this is what I was thinking of is that all the different things in nature and how everybody assumes that they happen by accident, and we don't give the credit to Hashem as doing it. And he's certainly doing it to teach me a lesson, to teach you a lesson, to teach everyone, to teach the world a lesson that there's no such thing as any wrongdoing going unpunished. Ultimately, there is punishment. Ultimately, there is reward, and no matter what happens, it's all from Hashem. Whether it's Hurricane Harvey, whether it's Hurricane Irma, certainly our thoughts and prayers are with them and all the people that are suffering. But at the same time, we also have to know that Hashem is talking to us, and Hashem wants us to get lessons. And we ignore those lessons for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, until we actually start concentrating about why certain things happen and how they happen. We're not going to get the lesson. So Hashem certainly wants us to get the lesson, and all the many other lessons that Hashem wants us to learn in this world. It's incumbent upon us to try to learn the lesson. And with that, I wish you a wonderful Shabbos. And you may have heard me say that before, but sometimes it'll take 40 years for you to realize what it means to have a wonderful Shabbos. So that is my blessing to all of you. Have a wonderful Shabbos and start trying to come as close as you can to Hashem. Thank you for listening.